everyone. Good morning. How's everybody doing? As we get settled in here, welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Hope all of you are doing awesome. I need the chat. I can't see all of the things. I'm going to be perfectly honest. At the moment, everything looks a little bit laggy on my end, and I don't know why. Hopefully that is not the case. But right now, it does look kind of laggy. I'm not sure what's going on. You guys let me know how things are working on your end. I don't know if we got some sort of network stuff happening here or what. I know that there's a bunch of crews out here right now going up and down the road working on internet stuff. So I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but I'm showing dropped frames. I'm showing laggy stuff. So again, I apologize. Hopefully that's not the case on your end, and it's just some weird glitch here. What's going on, everyone? How we doing? Robert's here. Robert says, howdy, people. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe and healthy. Robert, good morning. We're doing awesome. I hope you're doing just the same. Sam's here. Sam says, hello, everyone. Sam, good morning. I'm setting the thing to live chat right now. Haha, got it. Let's see here. Robin's here. Robin says, hi, all. Crikey, where did that week go? I know, right? It's going by so fast now. Where did the month go? And even worse, where did that year go? We are almost at the end of the year. What? How? How can that even be the case? Cheers, everyone. Oh, let's see. Robert says, there he is. Robin says, no lag in here. Stream seems fine. Bam. That is great news. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know what's going on here. I'm showing a bunch of dropped frames and kind of laggy. Well, maybe now the screen's looking like it may have caught up. Maybe it was just that initial boost there or something. I don't know. Robert says, looks pretty good so far. Nice. Time surfing alien says, sorry I missed you last week. Been having tech problems. That's no fun. We're glad you're here though. How's everything going in your world? Sam says, just doing the laundry and making a clean getaway. Nice. Making a break for it. I did some laundry yesterday. Robert says, did you get new lights for the shop? It looks a bit brighter than normal. No, I didn't. Everything's on. Well, this one's not on. This one lights the side of my face a little better. No, I haven't done anything. I wonder if maybe I've forgotten to turn some on in the past. I don't think so. Everything's pretty much the same setup. I haven't moved a thing. So how's everybody been? How we been? What are you guys working on? Any projects in the works? Any holiday projects, last minute holiday projects? Although it's not quite last minute yet, it's going to be by the time you blink. So if you got any projects you need to tackle, now's the time to tackle them. Time Surfing says, I consider it a win every time we get left-handed Jeff. Yeah, remember that for a while? That was ridiculous. Everything was backwards and reversed, and you couldn't read anything, and it was all weird. That was a weird time. That was like back in the dark ages. Yeah, I think now we've got a fairly decent setup going on here. Decent quality. I just need decent internet. And I hope that these crews that are out here installing fiber all up and down the road, they've been working on it forever. And I don't understand their process or really even what they're doing because, well, I'm not in the loop. But so far, they have gone up and down the road and installed at least 3 sets of conduit. So like one team came in and they trenched in, the yellow and the blue, whatever conduit for this fiber. And then a little while later, a month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't remember exactly, they came down and they trenched in another whole set of conduits. And then a couple of weeks ago, they came through and they trenched in another set of conduit. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I've asked every single crew, because I'm nosy like that. And really, I just want the fiber. I've asked every single crew what's going on, and they're all like, "Whoa, we're just putting in the conduit. Don't know." I'm like, "What about the ones they already put in?" And they're like, "I don't know. All they know is what they're supposed to be doing." So I have no information. So hopefully one day we'll get good fiber optic internet. Until then, I'm stuck with what we have. Really slow. But it works, barely. Robert says, my sister's printer quit about a week ago, so I have a new one sitting in my front room floor. We'll be taking it to her likely tomorrow. Nice. Right on. That's cool. Get her all fixed up with the new printer. I've been doing a bunch of tech stuff on our end as well. Messing with, remember that TrueNAS server that I built or assembled several months ago, 6 months ago, something like that? I've been using that for backups and everything, but I've finally been diving in a little bit deeper and getting some more stuff set up on that, and I've kind of just been tinkering with it on and off, trying to get things running. And so far, really everything's working pretty good on there. It's a whole learning process because I'm not a networking person, so I've had to call on some help for a few things for sure. But yeah, I've been kind of tinkering with that, getting backups, making sure everything's backed up and all that sort of thing. And it's just it's a new world for me because that's just not something that I work on. Really, but it is kind of nice having everything backed up. Like our computers are all backed up right to this thing, and that has the it's set up in a RAID configuration, so I have that redundancy, and it's kind of nice having that little bit of peace of mind, knowing that everything's kind of safe and sound. Really, it's been kind of fun, frustrating at times, but kind of fun. Time Servant says, just changed to fiber optic myself. Our electric company just got into ISP. That's what ours is doing. We have a few different fiber companies in the area. None that I have access to yet, but one of them is through the electric company. And I'm signed up. I'm already on the waiting list, so that whenever they pull the fiber, that hopefully I can get connected to it. But I don't know when that's going to be. I have no idea. None of the crews that I talk to know a single thing about anything other than their job at hand, which I get it, right? That's just what they're hired to do. But they're all different crews doing different jobs, running different conduit. It's kind of interesting. Time Surfing says, nice having electric, internet, and phone on one bill. Yeah, I can imagine that. Ours would be internet and electric, I think. I think it's on the same bill. I don't have a landline phone. I haven't had a landline phone in 15 years or more, probably more than that. We went all cell a long time ago, and probably was about 15 years actually. But yeah. Sam says, try Best Buy for 5G MiFi. I'm not 100% familiar with that. Does that just tie into your normal Wi-Fi? Is that what that is? Oh, but you said 5G. So no, it would be a cellular. See, I don't even have a whole lot of faith in that, to be honest with you, because one of the things that when we upgraded phones, well, quite a while ago now, a couple years, 2 years, and I was supposed to have 5G, right? And that was one of the cool things. And while my phone says I'm on 5G right now, 5G, at least where I live, it's so slow. Like, I don't know, Verizon. I don't know why they advertise 5G as being this blazing fast. It is no faster than like 3G, at least where I live, most of the time. I don't notice any of that. So I guess I don't have great 5G coverage here, so it probably wouldn't work. Yes, it says 5G, but the speeds don't indicate that. And I've tested this by using a hotspot to the laptop and doing like speed tests and stuff. And our slow internet is faster than 5G connection on my phone. I don't know why that is. The Time Servant says Verizon lies. Yeah, like remember when 5G was coming out, and that's like all we heard, right? 5G is going to be blazingly fast, I think is their exact wording. Yeah, it's not. At least not here. Not even a little bit. I'm not at all impressed with it. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Robert says, what quit on the printer was the paper feed rollers. Most printers, you can get a feed roller replacement kit, get them working again. Looked for one for her printer. None to be found. Ah, that's too bad. Well, maybe it's an older model that they didn't make anymore or something. I know I have worked on a lot of printers on and off in my day, back in my day. Now working in the manufacturing world for as long as I did, I spent a lot of time at different times working on printers as part of my daily thing, fixing printers, replacing feed rollers. Yeah. I'm not a printer tech, but definitely worked on a lot of them. Sam says 5G is just an emergency idea. Oh, MiFi is an emergency idea. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, as an emergency kind of backup solution, I could see that. I could totally see that. So what's everybody been working on? What's on the workbench? You saw this past weekend, I got and I showed you guys last week too, the bridal rack together for before Christmas. I actually got those tucked away. Well, one's right here still, but I got to finish getting those taken care of, and got that all done. And I started in on building this little dude, which is a string height gauge for doing guitar setups and stuff. You can buy these, well, you can buy them all over the place. But I'm making my own. This is still a prototype. It does work, but the problem I'm having with it, I don't know if you can see at the very bottom, the tip on the end of this dial indicator is kind of a point. And of course, that doesn't work with when it's trying to sit on a string. So like if you have a guitar string and the point, the string is always slipping off. So I've got some different tips ordered that I should be able to swap this out. And then we'll have this ready. I'll probably have to print another one with the right size recess for whatever the tip size is, unless it happens to be the same, but I don't know. So kind of been working on this. This is going to be it's gonna be a project video, more so walking through how I design, something like that. Even though, yes, you can buy these, but they're expensive. And I don't like the fact that most of the ones that you can buy, I don't like the fact that they're digital. I don't like the electronic measuring devices. I used to think they were super convenient, super handy, and until I bought a couple different ones, and I've talked about it before, they're always dead. So I have decided not to use any sort of electronic measuring devices. Yeah, the ones that I have will probably just not get used for the most part. But yeah, so this is what I've been working on. Sam says cone-tipped bolt or screw. Yes, I thought about that. Let me pull this out of there. So the thread on this is a 448. I'm probably going to drop this tip and lose it forever. 448 threads. I think I have a couple little tiny screws that I could use, but I want it to be nice and flat. So I found some cheap kind of knockoff tips that are supposed to be a 448 thread. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. So you can see that. See, it's got kind of a cone or a pointed tip on there. That does not work when it's trying to sit flat against a guitar string. I did play around with it with the tip removed, and it does work. It works just fine. However, I don't want to leave that exposed there, so I'd rather have some sort of a flat piece in there. This is one of those tools that I've just wanted to do for quite a while. I've wanted one ever since I saw the expensive ones available online, but I couldn't justify it. You know what I mean? Like you see those tools, super handy for doing certain tasks like this. Like it looks useful to me, um, but not for that price that most places want it. So we're gonna DIY this thing. Well, we're in the process of it. This is not the final 3D print. This is 3D printed. Um, I've done this at a pretty low infill. When I get everything finalized, I'm going to print another one, probably close to 100% infill, just because I want it nice and solid, and I want a little extra of that weight. That is probably one of the advantages of the commercially available ones, that they're made out of brass. So it's nice and hefty. This one's not super hefty yet. So that's what I've been working on. Really just kind of did a whole bunch of test prints yesterday, started filming the video for it, and I got to wait for those tips to show up so that I can get this thing wrapped up. Let's see. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Robert says, her printer was a Canon color laser printer. Don't remember the exact model, but it was different than other printers I've worked on. There's only one pickup roller at the back of the paper tray. Interesting. Sam says, you could adapt and overcome the tip. Yeah, you could. I don't want to change this one because I want to keep this for use later. I'm going to see what these cheap ones I ordered, if they work, then problem solved. If not, then I will find some screws and try to make this actually work. Jimmer's here. Jimmer says, I use those for building rear differentials. Yes. You probably use something like if I can get it out of there without knocking everything down. Use something like the magnetic base for that sort of deal. I'm gonna guess, right? Actually, I have two, but yeah, with a maybe not this base though, huh? It's kind of big, unless you put it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Got to get that backlash. Oh, let's see. Yeah, dial indicators are super handy for so many different things based on whatever, kind of a base or a fixture. There's so many different fixtures. There's like magnetic ones that go to the back. You can put a magnet on the back of this and then stick it to stuff. And we used to use those a lot when I worked in the manufacturing field, in the maintenance area. We would always have magnetic mounts, use them on the lathes or for indicating whatever. There's just so many uses for a good dial indicator. Terry's here. Terry says, hello, Jeff. Terry, good morning. How are you doing? Sam says, I can give you a tip. Don't eat yellow snow. It's not lemon flavor. Yeah, that's a good that's a good tip, Sam. One you never want to forget. Terry says, hey all. Jimmer says the mag base and also vice grip. Oh yeah, vice grip with the dial indicator attached. Yeah, I've seen that. I think they even make one of those. They have something similar. This is a Fowler indicator. Both of these are Fowler indicators. They have a kit made for like measuring disc brakes and things. Brake rotors. It's kind of a cool deal, and I believe that's got a vice grip actually made for that sort of thing to hold these. Robert says to Sam, funny. Not if you actually ate the yellow snow. Yeah, that would be bad. Don't eat the yellow snow. All right, what happened here? The thing scrolled up on me. I'm still here. All right. Yeah, so Jimmer, what are you working on today? What's on your lift? Any more like lift kits and winter beaters, that sort of thing? I don't know. I doubt I can find you that. Yeah, you'd have to look on the Fowler website. They have a, like I said, the brake rotor um kits for like measuring. I don't know if it's I'm not sure. I'd have to look into it to see what you're measuring with it, but yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah. So is everybody ready for the holidays? Everybody ready for Christmas? You got to make some Christmas presents or any of that sort of thing? Jim says, "Yep, I've used it for disc brake run out, rear diffs, bearing run out, valve trains." Yeah. Okay, so you probably have the same kit that I'm talking about, or a very similar one. There's like a bunch of different mounts and things in there. Yeah, super handy. Yeah. Jim says, no Porsche winter beaters today. That is funny. So just for a little context, uh, um, yeah, Porsche winter beaters. Jim works in a busy repair shop, and and yeah, like somebody brought in their winter beater, and it was like a Porsche. They had to put tires and stuff on it. Can you imagine? Oh, yeah, this is my winter beater. This is the Porsche. We left the Ferrari or the Lamborghini at home. It's too snowy. We're just gonna use the Porsche. Oh, that's funny. Cracks me up. Oh boy. Anyway. Yeah, yeah, 2-inch lift. Yeah, 2-inch lift and like winter tires on a Porsche for the winter beater. Yep. Oh boy. So let's see. As we are coming up on the end of the year, we really only have 2 videos left for the channel. One of them is going to be finishing up this little project, which, like I said, is really just kind of walking through my process for designing, a little piece like this, how I approach that sort of thing. The final one of the year is going to be my annual top 5 projects from the year. And actually, I have sat down and I have made some notes already. I had about 15 minutes or so before forgot what I was saying. Before I went live and I assembled the list. So I might, since I'm waiting on parts for this, I might start filming that today as well. The top 5, and that's going to be it for the year. There's only two. Yeah, there's literally only 2 weekends left of the year, and my goal is this coming weekend, and my top 5 for the last weekend of December. It is possible if the parts don't come in for some reason for this, the new tips, or they don't work and I have to get something else. It's possible that this will be the following weekend, and my top 5 will be this coming weekend, but I can't believe we only have 2 videos left for the entire year. And it's always kind of fun, like going through to do my top 5, just looking back at the projects and different things that have been done throughout the year. I don't know, I really kind of enjoy that yearly wrap up of just the different projects, because, as much as I try to stay focused on getting a project out, sometimes, you kind of forget. Oh yeah, I did that one, earlier in the year, and that was a really cool one. And so now the top 5 recap kind of gives me a moment to go back and look at some of those. So yeah, I got some cool ones. I think I like this top 5. And yeah, it'd be kind of fun to put that video together. Sam says Santa Claus is heading to the red light district to get his. Oh no. Oh no, Sam. I don't know where you're going with this. Fortunately, there's no Santa Claus Grotto this year. Santa Claus didn't do himself. Oh, no safety certificates. Oh boy. Robert says, one thing that always gets me is seeing vehicles driving or trying to drive on the road conditions with tires that have no tread. Yes. And you see that so often. It's like, no wonder you're slid off the road into the ditch because look at your tires. There's like no tread on them. And it's, 6 inches of snow or something like that. Yeah. A lot of times what we get out here, we don't end up with snow, so much snow on the roads most of the time. We usually end up with it just turns into ice, and then it's ridiculous, and it gets so bad. Where I grew up, I lived on dirt roads, and in the wintertime, when it would snow, it would take a while for the township crews to get out there sometimes, and you'd have to drive on, 6, 8, 10 inches of snow before they plow, and that's different than driving. I'd rather drive on that than on ice, which is what we get a lot out here. But yeah, you see that all the time. Bald tires. You wonder why that happens. Why you can't go or why you can't stop. And also what I see a lot, everybody's got a big four-wheel drive pickup out here. Probably everywhere really. And they just think that they're unstoppable. And, I've got a big truck, so I can go, 80 miles an hour. Yeah, it doesn't help you stop. It's just winter driving. Yeah. Really, I think it's because we all don't have a Porsche winter beater. Robert says even just standard tread on a tire is very little use in ice and muddy conditions. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just a regular tire. The vehicle that I had before the one that I have now was a little S10 pickup, two-wheel drive S10. And yeah, of course, two-wheel drive is in a pickup is kind of worthless in snow anyway, because there's no weight on the back. So I would have to almost put brand new tires on at the beginning of winter, and I would keep several 100 pounds of weight in the back, and it would sort of do kind of okay. Not great, but yeah, definitely a four-wheel drive would have made a big difference in going, not stopping still. But yeah, snow tires make a big difference. Dedicated snow tires. Sometimes this thing scrolls up. I'm not quite sure why. All right. Let's see. What else do you guys have? Today feels like just kind of a cool, just sort of a chill kind of day. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how you describe that. But it's kind of an interesting week here. Like I said, I'm working on a couple different videos here to wrap up the year. But also, this is the last week of school here anyway. So there's a whole bunch of year end kind of, end of the semester sort of stuff at school. Last night was the fall or winter band concert, which was super awesome. All of the groups, all of the kids did awesome. I really enjoyed that. Of course, I'm a music lover. You guys know that. And, I love listening to, especially these kids creating their music, doing their performances. It was super awesome. Tomorrow we have kind of an open house thing. So it's a busy, busy week here as we wrap up stuff, even not just in the shop, but outside the shop too. And this is a week to, it keeps you on your toes with different school things, end of year stuff, and all of that. So yeah, the band concert was awesome last night. Like I said, tomorrow is an open house sort of thing with, final end of semester displays, projects, and things like that. At least at my daughter's school, they do a kind of a final project for their semester. and tomorrow's the night to be able to go and see all of the final projects. It's always like the band stuff. It's super fun. I enjoy going over there. But it's just a busy and kind of tiring week. On the other side of that, that's partly why I'm kind of happy to work on a couple things right now that are not super intensive. I'm in and out of the shop, especially this week. So being able to work on some stuff like the top 5 video, and doing some test prints and stuff for this string height gauge, it's kind of a welcome change, actually, a nice change of pace towards the end of the year. And I look forward to that, really. I know it may seem like a lot of times that I'm like go 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 go, and a lot of times that's the case. But especially this time of year, I welcome a little bit slower pace, or what seems like a slower pace, because I'm busy outside of the shop. Robert says, I was riding with my brother in his Jeep one winter, and early in the morning one day we hit a patch of black ice. Oh no. Just tapped the brakes and geared down, went into a slide, and we slid for 150 feet. Was only doing maybe 40 miles an hour at the time. Yikes! That black ice it's no joke. I hit some one time. Thankfully, it wasn't even as bad as that. But this was years ago, not long after I moved out here. Actually, it might have been the very first winter I ever spent out here, and I didn't really know. I knew how to drive in the winter because I grew up doing that, but I didn't fully understand how the road conditions were. And I'm going along, and it was a classic case of bridge freezes before road. We all see those signs all over the place. And this was 100% the case. The road was perfectly fine. I don't even remember there being snow or anything on there. But for whatever reason, when I hit this bridge, it was a sheet of ice, and I'm just driving normal, and I got on the bridge, and the car just went into a slide, and I barely had time to correct it, and I was across the bridge, right? So everything straightened out. But yeah, that was the first time I really ever just hit something crazy. I've been on ice and sliding a lot, but it completely took me off guard. And thankfully, like I said, the bridge was not very long. Otherwise, it could have been a mess. Robert says he had no problem getting going, but stopping, even with good heavy tread on his Jeep, was a lot different. Yeah, it's crazy how much that makes a difference, right? It's trying to get the weight rolling versus stopping that weight that's already in motion, right? What's that, Newton's law? Object in motion is going to stay in motion. Yeah. So it's hard to stop when you're sliding like that. All right, I'm going to check. Oh, our dropped frame stats have gone down. Okay, so it kind of looks like that was just when we were getting started. Like there was like a weird glitch or something, and I was dropping a lot of frames and stuttering and lagging. It looks like the number's going down, so that must mean we're not dropping frames. Very cool. Sam says it was a mess. It caused the brownout. Oh boy, Sam. What are we gonna do? But sometimes this thing scrolls up. I don't really know why. Let's see. Kay McCall says, hey, what's going on? Welcome and good morning. How are you doing? How's everything going? EcoWood. It's EcoWood. I got to remember that. Thank you for telling me that, because it takes me a minute to connect everything. So, I just caused the camera to do something. What is it doing? Did I just tell it to not track me? Yeah. Right on. EcoWood, what's going on? How's everything going? What are you working on? How's everything in your neck of the woods? pretty decent here. I can't complain. Knocking out a few end of year projects. The weather's really nice, even though I have a beanie on. It says goldfish brain. Goldfish brain? I like goldfish. The crackers. Right on. Yeah, so does anybody have any projects you're trying to wrap up for Christmas or for the holidays and any type of holidays? What's everybody working on? Anything in the works? I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that I need to make. It would probably be outside of video projects. I've already got the video projects worked out for the rest of the year, but I don't know. What do you guys do? Do you make stuff for Christmas? I know some people. I think Paul mentioned last week that he's going to do some pens or something for some gifts, and I don't know. I'm just curious what everybody does. Let's see. Rick Ash Solo Band says, "Hey Jeff, I like your welding video. That was pretty dang cool." Yeah, thank you. So that was the laser welder, the X Laser Lab laser welder that we had a week ago, 2 weeks ago. That was really fun. It's sitting right there. I'm not putting it away because I got to spend some more time on working with that. Maybe here over the next week or so, I'll break that out and just do a little more learning. Really spend some time, dig into the settings, and understand how that thing works. And I need to make make or modify like a welding cart for it. Because right now you've got the wire feed and I've got the actual wire, the welding unit. There you go. I can't talk. And right now it's just kind of sitting on the floor. But I need to make a better place to store that, to keep everything organized. And yeah, so I gotta do something. Maybe that'll be a project for early next year, kind of thing. I was thinking I might just purchase a welding cart, like a cheap one, modify it if I need to make it work for that. But yeah, that was so cool. Totally a different technology, something I'm absolutely not used to. But I think it definitely has some potential there. Super cool. K McCall says, "I'm making some earrings." Oh, cool. I made some for my daughter 2 years ago. I can't remember. I should make some more of those. Rick Ash Solar Band says, "You're welcome." Right on. Thank you. K McCall, did you get the guitar finished? The cigar box? Yes. Yes, it is done. The last video went up, I think, 2 weeks ago. There's a whole playlist on the channel. If you haven't seen it all, check out the playlist section of the Homebuilt Workshop YouTube channel. And I believe it's 5 parts for building that cigar box guitar. I think that is the most in-depth playlist I have on building a cigar box guitar. I've got several builds out there, but I don't think I've ever done one that's 5 parts long. So tried to touch on a lot of the details for that and the information for those of you that are interested in that sort of thing. But yeah, the guitar is done, and I still have to finish taking pictures. Maybe I'll do that today. The weather's supposed to be nice. Maybe get some nice sunlight on there or something. I got to get it listed because it is available. So if anybody's watching the video and you're interested in that latest 3-string cigar box guitar build, well, let me know. I know a guy. Robert says, "Speaking of beanies, I found one on Amazon that has a built-in headlight and Bluetooth rechargeable headphones, and it's heated as well." What? Heated headphones and a headlight? Man, that's going to have like a car battery attached to it. That's pretty cool, though. A heated beanie. Interesting. I'm going to need that probably, when do we usually get cold? January was when we get our cold spell. Chemical, nice. Rick Ash Solo Band, can you do small projects, or is that for bigger stuff like the mower with the new welder. No, you can do smaller stuff, and that's what I need to play around with, just to work on smaller things. When I worked on the lawnmower, I'm just trying to find something to use it for, and it turns out that I remember that crack on there, and it was just an application that came to mind that I could use it for a real world, like truly, um, like a real fix, not just just welding a couple pieces together. Like I actually wanted to use it for an actual fix, something you would actually use a welder for in real life, and that's what came to mind. So that's why I used the lawnmower for that example. I didn't want to just do a bunch of test pieces or welding some little bits together. I wanted a real use, that you would actually use something like maybe a MIG welder or something for, to show that it is capable up to my abilities with that machine, meaning I still have some learning to do, but it's a viable option for real world stuff. That's why I did the mower, but you can absolutely do, um, smaller stuff. And that's what I need to play around with. I did a bunch of test pieces, test beads and stuff on the scrap pieces in that video. But I want to do like some little sheet metal things. You can turn that way down and use it for very small projects, and that's where I need to just spend some time and understand that. Maybe even a follow-up video. I don't know if I will or not, but maybe, just to show some of that stuff once I learn it a little bit more. There's still some settings in there that I don't really understand, and it'd be nice to kind of understand what some of those other settings change. But yeah, it's super cool. Kay McCall says, you should make a metal guitar with the welder. That would be cool. That really would. Or like a resonator kind of thing or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be really cool. That's a great idea. I got to get better at it. And I need another tank of welding gas. I mentioned in that video that I was using the tank that I have on my MIG welder, which is an argon mix. I want to get an actual tank of nitrogen because it sounds to me like that's what's recommended. Although you can use, argon as well, but the first option listed is nitrogen. So I kind of want to try that. So I got to find the welding shop that has nitrogen. Probably all of them. I don't know. But it's been so long since I've had to go to the welding shop. I got to double check and see. I know there's been some that have closed, and yeah. Rick Ash Solo Band says, yeah, I noticed it was pretty spot on when you were changing all of your settings. Yeah. Robert says, the beanie was like $30 plus shipping. Interesting. But yeah, as far as the welder settings, Rick, there's just some that I don't fully understand. You know what I'm saying? So I just need to play and understand. Okay, if I change this, this is what happens to the weld. Just really for my knowledge, helps me with fine tuning things. Rick says a metal guitar. Robin says glitching and dropping out a bit now. Oh, I see. The dropped frame percentage has increased. Yes, so my apologies for that. Oh, it's going up. It is going up. Yeah, we're at 5% now. It wasn't anywhere. Oh, it's still climbing. 5.1. Oh, boy. Internet guys, knock it off. Stop it. You're messing with our stream here. Oh, no. I'm afraid it's gonna cut out. It's still going up. Robert says starting to get buffering here. Not sure if it's on my end or not. I don't know either. It's increasing. That number is increasing. Come on. Snap out of it. Rick says when you do it that way, makes it sound Like Metallica. It says YouTube just dumped 5 ads, Sam says, and now it's causing a lot of buffering. I don't think it's the the ads, Sam. I got something going on here. I'm looking at the stats, and my dropped frames are going up like a lot. I'm not sure why. Rick says, "Oh wow, yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, everything started to increase quite a lot." Rick says, "Reminds me of my MIDI settings." Right on. Yeah, we're up to over 6% dropped frames, and they're going up a lot. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on there. If you're experiencing any sort of thing here, I don't know what the deal is. Something is amiss. I wouldn't be surprised if it's these crews out here doing stuff. You know, I've noticed that before. Seems like things slow down when they're out there working on stuff. I don't think they're disconnecting things, but something in the something in the matrix gets mixed up. That's what it seems like. Yeah. Yeah, we are way slow right now. This may not even be watchable. And if that's the case, again, I'm sorry. I can't quite tell. I'm going to the view. It is saying that YouTube is not getting enough data to maintain the stream. Well, Rick says you're freezing a lot. Yeah, it's still, we're up to over 7% dropped frames now and climbing. So I think, I think we're going to end this early today because of that. Not that I don't want to. I don't want to end early, but that number is climbing, which means the quality of the stream is going to go down, down for you. We're at 7.3%, 7.4% dropped frames, and there's nothing I can do to fix that. So I think we're going to end this here today. My apologies for the bad stream or the weird data issue. Tony just dropped in. Tony says, "Morning, sunshine." Tony, good morning. Sadly, I'm gonna have to end this stream early because I am losing my connection. I'm watching it drop out before my very eyes. 7.7% dropped frames. I don't know what's going on. It just all of a sudden, it's going up. So we're gonna wrap this up. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna get to doing some filming and some editing.